Let's talk about Starfield. We know what's going on. Plenty of Starfield content going out there. I mentioned on Twitter yesterday, yes, I will. I am currently playing it. Obviously, I can't go into anything. The embargo is at the end of the month. Shout out to the IOP channel, Iron Lords Podcast. If you want my coverage, you're going to have to go over there. Now, let's talk about whether or not Starfield is the most important game in Xbox history. Now, I made a video yesterday talking about, whether or not the stuff that I wanted in Starfield. I made that video, and yesterday I saw a lot of people commenting because I mentioned in that video whether or not Starfield was the most important game that's ever been on Xbox or going to be on Xbox. And I got a lot of mixed comments in there. A lot of people, they think it is the most important. Now, I think there is a couple things that might compete with it being the most important. One thing is the original Xbox Halo. I feel like that is really the only competition. Now, Halo Infinite, I made a video in the past talking about is Halo Infinite the most important gaming game Xbox history, and at the time, I do think that was the most important. And the reason I think that was more important than the original Halo coming out is because back then Halo already needed to establish something. I feel like Halo Infinite, in a way, was trying to prove that that brand was still kicking. Now, obviously, we've seen what happened with that. We don't really got to go into that. Today, we're talking about Starfield. Starfield, to me, is the opening statement that says, not only are we getting Bethesda back on track, we are going to show you guys we can make content. We can make Game of the Year content. We can make, Game of the Year contender content. PlayStation, you can say what they want, but they have a lot of games that's Game of the Year or Game of the Year contender. You can argue that a lot of their games have almost got Game of the Year. They've gotten runner-up, or they have gotten Game of the Year in the past few years. Starfield is definitely one of those games that, you can argue would be a Game of the Year contender just off of the merits of the name itself. Bethesda Software Studios, making the first original IP since Fallout and Elder Scrolls. 25 years. When Microsoft bought Bethesda, a lot of companies and a lot of content creators was like, is it right for Microsoft to go out and buy these giant publishers? And I think the reason that Starfield is one of the most important games, if not the most important, because I don't know if it would go over the original Halo, but it's definitely a runner-up to me, is because it shows the industry and it shows all the consumers that, we bought these games, we're going to make them better. We bought these companies, we're going to increase their staff, we're going to give them better tools. We're not only just buying these just so they're on our platform, which obviously that's one of the reasons. They want an ecosystem. They want games in their portfolio, games in Game Pass. But I think Starfield is going to be that first one of a huge caliber. Now, obviously, you got stuff like Hi-Fi Rush. I would say that was a definite game that came out there and it showed you what it was doing. But I do think a lot of Microsoft was behind Starfield's development up till now. Starfield has been delayed a couple times. I would argue that the majority of the main production of this game has been under Xbox's vision. So Starfield, I wouldn't say it's a make it and break it kind of moment, but I would say it's extremely important to Xbox because they need this game to go. Especially with the Redfall situation. Halo Infinite was very underwhelming in terms of how they handled, their short game. I think that Microsoft really needs this to go off without a hitch. Microsoft and Xbox need this game to show them that they mean business. To a point, Xbox, they put themselves in this hole. And I'm never going to sit there and say that they don't deserve to be in this. They do. Releasing games like Redfall in the condition it was, it's not acceptable. The industry does it a lot too. We can't just put all that blame on Xbox, PlayStation. released ReCore and it was shutting PlayStation down. I remember Last of Us Part 2 had some glitches. People release buggy games all the time. But I think what made the Redfall thing different was it was delayed multiple times. It was the first $70 game. On top of that, one of the first, if not the first, next-gen only title. And I think that's why Starfield has all this pressure on it. This is the first big title of the Xbox Series X. The generation after probably one of the biggest generations was the PS4 and the Xbox 360. That generation Microsoft lost, and they should not have lost that. And this is one of the first games out the gate in the generation that, they turned a lot of things around that you're looking at them. It's like Starfield's going to show you that they still got it. Starfield's going to show you that they still care about quality. They still care about content. And Starfield's going to show you that Bethesda's back on track. That, not only did we buy this company, we elevated them. We funded them better. We gave them more talent. Gave them better space. Gave them better tools. Starfield is going to show people that Microsoft and Xbox are taking gaming seriously. And that, sure, they dropped the ball on the Xbox One generation. And they made a lot of mistakes they probably shouldn't have made during that generation. They lost a lot of the ground that they picked up during the 360. It's going to show people that when we buy these publishers, when we buy these studios, we're not just buying them to keep them the way they are. We're buying them to elevate them to newer standards. And, I think that's the reason. The original Xbox is a phenomenon. Halo on the original Xbox was a cultural movement. It was a movement. And I think that I would say that would be the most important game that's ever been in Xbox history. But that was so long ago. At this point, they didn't really have much working for them. They had some key components, some key games, but Halo saved a brand that didn't have an identity. Halo 1 launched a company and launched a brand that didn't have an identity. That's what I meant to say. I feel like Starfield is breathing hope back into the consumer base. Starfield is showing people that you can get these Game of the Year contending type of games on our platform. Xbox still got what it takes to compete. And that's the biggest thing about the video. I could argue, and that's why I didn't really compete or, go back and forth with people in the comment section. Starfield definitely can be the most important game for Xbox, and I wouldn't argue that. And I would actually agree with you in a lot of terms. Because if anything, what Starfield does and how this game performs and how this game delivers is going to tell consumers, and it's going to tell the industry that Xbox is still trying to compete. And I think that's the most important thing ever, because in an era right now where there's a lot of negativity around Xbox, Starfield is going to be that bring of light. This is the content you can expect from us. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think that Starfield is the most important game in Xbox history? And it's just, this is more of like a conversation, man, because I agree. I agree to a point. If you want to not use Halo, because at that point, I don't think there was a brand much there. They help elevate a brand. But I don't think right now Starfield means more to the Xbox brand currently than anything else has since the original Halo came out. And, Halo 3 did very good jobs. All the Gears did very good jobs. But I would say that was at a time where Xbox was in a good place. It's easier to convince people to go out and do something when the brand is hot. The brand's popular. Right now, Starfield got to get Xbox back in that popularity contest. Xbox got to beat that movement, that Skyrim movement. And that's where I agree with you. If you want to go off those dilemmas, Starfield's definitely the most important game that's ever been on the Xbox brand. By far. And I think, that's pretty much all for the video. I think that we're going to see a lot. and I have a whole lot of hope going on to anything. It's like I said, put in the comment section below if you guys think Starfield is the most important game. I saw a lot of people commenting on it, and I felt like this is something that we can definitely talk about, whether or not Starfield is the most important game in Xbox history. But put in the comment section below, tell me what you guys think. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.